Okay, ni gani? Toka hivi. Come on.
Sana.
Mbona pika mkono kwa mfugo?
Kwa mkono wa mfugo gani?
Wewe ni nani?
Give me money, I want money.
Sekretari. Haraka!
Twendeni.
Haraka! Tembea!
You first start and you don't really know what to expect. So already, you know, like the heart is pumping, and we arrived, and the two guys who started, it was a little bit like, okay, this is okay, you know. It's like I found it quite comical at the beginning, but then afterwards, when all the rest of the guys came, and then it started to get, you know, quite serious. Then you were like, wow. Yeah, I've never experienced either courage. I think, you know, especially for children. And kids, I think that's one of the main things that went through my mind was, you know, if you have a family and they're fleeing, like, you know, I mean, yeah, I can't even describe it really.
It should be the responsibility of the government or a government to receive these refugees. It's not an issue of the locals or junior staffs will handle them. You know, if somebody is hungry and is frustrated, and then you expose them to such a responsibility of handling and people with problems, I think they will just add to that. I think if there is a scenario of a group of people have left their country for one reason or the other, top government officials, the president and the cabinet and all this should go and receive them. If it is we are just on transit, we are leaving this country for another country, the government should organize, arrange and see them out of that country.
You know, with 24-hour news media, the refugee story has been played a lot. So I think in some respects, until you face the real reality, you don't really have the empathy to understand what people are going through. For me, this experience today has given me so far is a better understanding of what people who are fleeing a situation have to go through. I have 3 daughters, and I was just thinking to myself, you know, if this was real and I was having to protect my daughters and my wife, how would I possibly do it? And it was that helplessness which I think I found the most difficult thing to consider. That you can't trust anyone, and not even a person in a uniform. And you know, for many of us, that is a sort of compass in your life, that if I need some help, I can go to a policeman if I need some. And suddenly all of that is thrown out of the window, and you're being treated in this very aggressive and violent manner. And it seems that whatever you say is not going to make any difference. You know, you're in a situation which is a little bit like Franz Kafka. You don't know, it's a little bit like a dream. You don't know how to break yourself out of it. So I would say what would be running through my mind if I was in such a situation is how that, you know, it was just myself and my very small unit against the rest of the world.
If this is what people go through, you know, in a real life situation, I don't know what to say. You know, it's very traumatizing in that when you're going to a new country, you are first insecure and you have a fear of, you know, how you'll be received, you know, will you be stereotyped, will you be able to survive? And if this is what people go through, you know, from the word go before you even enter a country, you know, it makes everything more difficult, you know, than you could imagine. Yeah.
I think it's just giving me more of an awareness and how, you know, how it actually really happens for people who are having to flee from war or whatever. Yeah, it's something that now I'm taking completely, like looking at it in a completely different way, and I think it's also interesting where you kind of keep coming to these blocks, and you might think that the next block might help you, or the next, you know, checkpoint, but actually it's all the same, and you're going through the same process, both physically, emotionally, and.
I'd really like to encourage, you know, musicians out there to get involved in, you know, humanitarian issues or anything that would help in healing the world or making a difference, and, you know, use your craft and just make a difference out there. You know, let's stop focusing on drawing audiences or the world to us, you know, to just appreciate us and clap hands for us, but, you know, also to give back to them. Yes, we entertain them, but, you know, since we have quite a powerful tool, let's go further and do something bigger.
Close your eyes! Close your eyes! What's wrong?
Up, get on!
Come on!
Get on!
What I saw was hell. What I saw was really inhuman. humanity generally has lost direction. And if that is how human beings are handled, it is terrible. And one thing that really shocks me again is when a group of people have run away from problems and then they are experiencing such things, those who are planning to help them sit in big hotels, use millions of shillings, discussing, my porch is gone, my money is gone, everything that I have is gone. I don't have breakfast. I don't know where to spend. I don't know what to eat, you see? And worse still, maybe I came alone and I left people to tell them that I have explored and life is better here. How do I communicate with them? What happens? So there is a big problem.
I don't think from an economic point of view people have done enough analysis as to what is the cost of having all these people housed in a refugee camp. You know, what benefit could an economy have if all of them were doing something which is productive, providing for their family, and also from the perspective that it's such a wasted life, isn't it? I've read people who've been in refugee camps for years and years, and that's no way to live a life, right? So I think what I would say from the policy-making side is we need a bit more analysis about the cost to the economy of these situations, particularly when they continue for a long time, and then we need to see an improvement. It put me for 2 hours in the situation of somebody whose situation I would never like to be in if I can ever help it. But it gave me that connection and understanding of what it would be like to have something on top of your head, to be hearing voices and not to be knowing what is going to happen next. That is a very, very difficult place. And I think for the people around the world who hopefully will be watching what you've done today, is, you know, often we see adverts, we get fatigue, but behind those adverts there's a real story of real people.
Close your eyes! Close your eyes! What's wrong?
Up, get up!
Come on!
Get up!
Down!
In 1 minute, a family can lose everything. Their home, their loved ones, their future. But in a minute, you can help a refugee family find shelter, comfort, and hope. Please take a minute and help UNHCR protect a family. Go to unhcr.org/OneFamily.